Greetings to you from God our Father and the creator and sustainer of everything. My name is Jetty Taylor Robinson, health coach, founder, and steward for Taylor's Holistic Approach Ministries, a ministry that is focused on gut health, God, and God's sustainability through his sustenance that he so graciously provided for us. And his plan of sustainability is awesome, and it still works. If you're joining us by Facebook Live, thank you for joining us today. Please don't forget to share us on your page if you feel like this information is much needed and you want to spread it out to your friends and family who are not a part of our group. We want interaction, so continue to comment, give thumbs up, hearts, emojis, anything just to, keep the flow going. If you're joining us by our YouTube channel, which is uploaded later on, thank you for your support and welcome. You can also share. Also give us thumbs up, subscribe, hit that notification bell so that each time the videos are loaded up each Sunday that you will get notified and they will be there for your viewing pleasure. Also share this with your friends and family who you think that this would be helpful to. So what is this about? So our gut series, during my studies as a health coach, I read that over 2,000 years ago, this Greek physician, Hippocrates, he made the claim that all disease began in the gut. So this just piqued my curiosity, and ultimately I found my purpose for this ministry is to educate people about gut health. This gut health series, Making Gut Sense of It All, is such a God-ordained thing that it's so needed as we continue to fight against things that try to take us down. Things that at this point, we're fighting against the coronavirus and other chronic illnesses. And we're learning ways of being aware of how everything we do has an adverse effect or it has a beneficial effect on our well-being. My prayer is that we will not just be spectators sitting by watching each session saying, wow, that was good, or wow, I needed that and I know I need to change, but we have to break ourselves from that but mode. It's like in John 5:1-9, when Jesus asked the lame man at the pool of Bethesda, do you want to be healed? And instead of, hi Daryl, hi cousin, instead of saying, yes, I want to be healed, the man gave Jesus his sob story as to everything that happened beforehand, and that was the reason that he had not been healed. So I'm just saying that we need to realize that a change is needed, and that change is now. So don't be like the man and just keep saying, being in that but mode. I should, but I could, but because, it's a time that we just need it. I've heard people say, oh, I'm living my best life, or I've heard people comment looking at other people like, oh, she's living her best life. Well, I hope this is not true, because God wants so much better for us. And so the statement should really be, I'm living my best life yet, but there's better to come. Because we know that God is still in the blessing business. He still wants better for us. So God can do what no other power can do, but you have to do your part. God always calls us into action when he's getting ready to do a new thing in us. So will you be ready? There's a need. I look around daily and I see people, it seems like I see more sick people than I do well people. It saddens me to see people on oxygen, people who have diabetes, who have skin diseases or conditions. They're in wheelchairs, they're missing limbs. But they're doing what all they know to do is to buy pain medication or get prescriptions filled, or sometimes they're trying to do their best. They're purchasing things that they think are healthy, that they think, it's real food. Or, it saddens me when someone passes away, when something that, with something that was possibly preventable. They don't get to see their children or their grandchildren grow up. Family history sometimes is lost with them. And so it seems like it's like a person that, this reference in the Bible, there is this passage that talks about how a person will look in a reflection and see himself. And then once they turn away, they immediately forget what they've seen. We have to be more cautious. We have to be more keen at what we see each day. When we look in the mirror and say, I could do better, I will do better. There's a need, and we need to realize that there's a need. God's plan of healing has to go forth, and if we just reach one person each Sunday that has a mindset of I'm going to change and I'm going to do better, and they do better, then God's mission for this ministry would have gone forth, and our time and energy would have been well spent. So this gut series does not claim to diagnose, cure, treat any disease, condition, or issues that you may be experiencing. It is not meant to take the place of medical treatment. God makes our bodies to heal itself. And so what we're trying to do is sound the alarm that God's food is medicine, and that if you give your body what it needs, it will heal itself. We know that God's plan of sustaining us through the sustenance that He gave us from the beginning, it still works. Prayer still works. His grace and His mercy still works. And with God, all things are possible. We just have to believe, and we have to put our foot on faith, and we just have to push forward. So let us pray. Gracious, forgiving, understanding, all-wise God, we come to you today to first say thank you. Thank you for putting up with us. Thank you for keeping us in spite of us. Thank you for roofs and walls we reside in. Thank you for the wheels that provide transportation for us. Thank you for loving us beyond our faults and meeting our needs according to your wills for our lives. My sister is texting me. I'm sorry. I was wondering why my sister and my mom was on. So we continue to pray. Thank you for loving us beyond our faults. Forgive us for our shortcomings, and help us to forgive those who we don't think deserve forgiveness. Help us to want to do better. Give us strength to resist the things that are being detrimental to our health. Help us to sacrifice now so that we can look forward to better. In the only name that really matters, Jesus, we ask and we give you praise. And all who agree, just respond, amen. It's good to see you, nephew. And hopefully there will be more people joining us. My sister and my mom always comes on, and maybe they're having a little connectivity problem. So I hope that anyone else who is trying to join will be able to get on. So we're going to go over the digestion process. We went over this in May, but I just want to give you a clear view so you can get it in your mind how all of this connects. So eating has become a favorite pastime. Our social gatherings are centered around eating and drinking. But do we just purpose to eat, or are we selective so that there is purpose in our eating? Not only should we eat and drink to be merry to satisfy hunger and thirst, we should consume food that provide the body with vitamins and nutrients that will help to sustain us by nourishing our bodies. We've learned that digestion comes through 3 phases, using physical and chemical breakdowns in order to process our foods and into molecules small enough for our body to use them for fuel and for energy, for reproduction and for rebuilding. During the breakdown, our digestive tract processes our food into 3 categories: carbs, proteins, and fats. It uses enzymes, each requiring their own pH balance, and the pH balance is just the measure of acidity in the area, to chemically break down. And chewing, grinding, churning, pushing, and moving along is a physical breakdown part, and this takes place in this 30-foot hollow digestive tract that's located in the center of our bodies. So I said there's 3 phases. So in the first phase, the physical breakdown begins when we begin to chew. And the chemical breaks down when the saliva comes in, and the saliva contains enzymes that begin to break down the food chemically. So this is why we talked about chewing being so important. And chewing, not only just chewing, because a lot of times we found out that people, they chew 4 to 5 times, and then they swallow. Daryl, how many times do you chew before you swallow? Do you even pay attention to when you're eating, how much you're chewing, or how long you're chewing, how many times you're chewing? It's because it's just automatic. We don't think about those things as being important. We just think about we're hungry and, chewing it small enough for us to swallow, and that's it. But what happens is the more we chew, it helps the breakdown. It helps the chemical breakdown because the enzymes have more surface to cover, and then therefore it helps that process of breaking down our food into smaller particles. So in each phase, that's the goal, is to break the food down further and further and further and extracting. So, and once we chew to liquid and we swallow, goes down the esophagus into the stomach. And so this starts the second phase in the stomach. Once the food enters and the stomach starts to enlarge, hormones give the signal that, and then hydrochloric acid is released. And so this hydrochloric acid rushes in to protect us because it kills any unwanted bad bacteria or pathogens, and pathogens are just bacterium or virus or other things that cause disease. And so our body automatically releases this hydrochloric acid to start killing off these pathogens and bad bacteria. So the pH is really low because the stomach is really acidic. But what happens is another signal goes out, and this formula comes in that buffers the acid and allows it not to harm our stomach, but do the job that it is responsible for doing. So, but this acid that is released starts to unwind proteins, and proteins are mostly digested in the stomach. So this part of our digestion takes 2 hours for carbs, 4 hours for fats, and for protein, since it's mostly digested in the stomach, it takes between 2 to 4 hours. Everybody is different. Hello, Sister Henderson. So after the process is complete, the food is released into the small intestines, 2 to 3 teaspoons at a time. And so this starts the third phase of our digestion. So in the small intestines, minerals and nutrients are extracted, and the carbs, fats, and the remaining of the proteins are digested. This occurs on a higher pH. So you have to know that all of the enzymes, they require their own pH level. So once complete, the food is passed to the large intestines. Here, the remaining waters are extracted and salts are put back into the body. So, and then what's left is undigestible fiber. But this undigestible fiber is food for the bacteria that lives in our large intestines. And it's fermented, and when it's fermented, it creates vitamins, minerals, and fatty acids. So what's left after all of this is waste, and it is released into its resting place 2 to 3 times over a day, and then when it's time to rest and release, then we know that, and that is the last phase of our digestive tract, our digestion, I should say. So each time we eat food or food-like substances, our body just automatically clicks into these phases. So no matter what we're eating, no matter what we're trying to digest, it categorizes. It must be, it treats a certain carbs a certain way, fats a certain way, proteins a certain way. So I went over this so that we could understand the importance of giving our bodies what it needs to thrive. Also to highlight hormones and how they play a vital part in digestion through communicating between the organs. So food for thought. What do you think happens to the things we eat that our body cannot identify as a carb or a fat or a protein? Just something for us to think about and to be more conscious about when we're choosing things that we want to eat. So in the month of August, the gut focal for this ministry is different aspects of physical health. So last week we talked about features and cosmetics. The gut focal this month is called Beauty from the Inside Out. So if you weren't with us last week, we had a discussion about how we perceive people and like their looks. You look at a person in a certain way, and because of their looks, you perceive or you make judgment on them, their personality. You don't know them, but it's just the way they carry themselves, the way they dress, whatever. And so we had an interesting conversation, and people were saying that they don't necessarily do that. They judge people on certain things, like their character or how they speak, or different things other than just how they look. So, and we also last week we viewed some disturbing photos, and they're still posted on the Ministries page. How of people who weren't satisfied with the way they look, and so they went through cosmetic surgery, and it's just like some of them, it was to the point where they had so many that their faces were really distorted and they really messed up, and the before and after pictures were clearly better than the after pictures. It's so just talking about dissatisfaction. So I want to have an open discussion about ourselves. So if you could change anything about yourself, what would it be? So like always, if you, I know there's a delay in the live. So if you, everybody should give me a hand up, raise your hand, say, oh, I'm typing in something so that I will wait. That would be great. So if you could change one thing about yourself, what would it be? And I'll start, so I'm waiting on you. I think the one thing that I would change is I would have more eyebrows. I have no eyebrows. That's why I have to draw them in. But yeah, it was just like, that would be one thing, and the second thing would probably be lashes. But yeah, so eyebrows, lashes, I would have more of. And that would be the thing. Okay, so I'll keep going. And eating habits. Yes, totally. And that's one thing that we have talked about is eating habits, and just asking ourselves those hard questions of, is it worth it? Is, my son says, me too. Yes, we have no eyebrows. But, asking ourselves those hard questions of, is this going to throw me back? Is this going to derail me from what I'm trying to do? I'm trying to eat better. I'm trying to live better. So is this one thing that's going to give me this temporary pleasure for the next 2 to 3 minutes? Is it worth it, or can I let it pass and get something better? We have one person who joins us who says that she started eating fruit instead of sugar because she was really hooked on sugar, and so she just made the decision that she is going to start with fruit. And so one thing we have to do is we have to oh, hey, Brother Andre, he says, more reading, less TV. Yes, brain work, definitely. But we have to start, just do one thing. Sometimes we try to do too many things, and this leads to discouragement. It leads to, us just giving up, saying, what's the use? But if we can just do one thing and let that one thing catch on, it will lead to other things. So we want to continue to strive to just press forward, say that little prayer, Lord, help me, because I want to do A, B, C, but I need to do D, E, F, and G. So just help me just do D. And just do that D thing. Just continue on. It takes a while as we look around and we see the condition that we're in. We didn't get that way overnight. So we have to just be patient with ourselves and just strive to do better each day, each week. Sometimes it's minute by minute. It's just like, but that's what it takes. And you just gotta want it bad enough. You gotta want it strong enough to just go ahead and just say, I'm gonna deny myself now. It won't be always, it's just like when you are sick, when you have a cold or something else is happening to your body. You have to pamper that thing. You just don't go on business as usual because it's gonna get worse. So you draw back. If you're sick, you stay in, you rest, you hydrate, you get your vitamins and your nutrients. If, you have a broken limb, you pacify that thing. You don't just keep walking on it, or you just don't keep using it. You have to sling it, you have to cast it, you have to rest it in order for it to get better later, so you can use it later. The same thing with your eating habits and your nutritional needs. If you slip off one day, then just get back on and say, get back on track and say, okay, I did it, I'm going to do better. And just make it a day by day thing, and one thing at a time, and then you'll find yourself. Your body is strange. It's really adaptive. And that just means, the more you do something, it adapts, and then it wants it. And so that's why it's so hard now for people to break the habit of bad eating habits, because your body has adapted to what you have been giving it. And so that's what it wants. And so if you, just like weaning a child from, the bottle or from breastfeeding, is, you have to give it something, and a little bit at a time, and before you know it, it's changed. So that's, we have to treat that the same. Our eating habits and anything else, any other bad habit that we're trying to break, in the same manner. Okay, thank you for that. And more reading, and let's address that. More reading, less TV. TV is is a no-brainer. We don't have to, think. We just sit and, and whatever is on that television, we take on. So we talked about at one point stress. And if you're watching, horror flicks or drama, especially like with all of the things that are on now, like the housewives of different cities and hip hop and, and these people that are fighting and doing all these things, we're taking that on. And so if you're eating while you're viewing these things, it's like your body is not digesting the way it's supposed to. So it's affecting your digestion, and so then it'll show up in other parts of your body. So reading, it gives your brain activity. It takes you somewhere else. Hopefully you're reading something that is positive, something that's supportive, something that, you're investigating parts as far as like your health, or just something that you're intrigued by, something that you have a ministry passion for, something you want to learn about. Yes, definitely reading is great. So all you have to do is, and Brother Andre, we have so many, like, there is, you can get it on your phone, you can get a book on your phone, a book on your computer. Physical books are always good. So there's so many ways that you can get into reading. So yes, that's a good point. So I pray that Sister Henderson and Brother Andre, that helps you out. Today we want to raise the issues and conditions that occur from the inside out. Do you suffer from acne or eczema or any other kind of skin condition? Studies have shown that these are related to what we consume and how it's perceived inside. I was looking at this video entitled The Gut and Skin Connection by Dr. Axe. And he informs that in Chinese medicine, the area of breakout, say for instance on your face, is associated with an organ. So say for instance, a breakout on your forehead is associated with your liver. Under the eyes, your kidneys, and the lower part of your cheeks be connected with your lungs or your stomach. And all of these have a connection with your digestion. So what can we do? First thing is we need to eliminate some things. And I know people are like, ugh, because it's hard, because it's like when you say you can't have a certain thing, that's the thing you want most of. That's the thing that keeps coming on, keeps coming into your mind or catching your attention. Have you ever done this where if you bought a car, say for instance you bought a white car, and now all of a sudden you're driving and everywhere you go, you see white cars. It's like, where did all these white cars come from? People just have white cars because I have a white car. No, it's just because that's what, your focus is now. That's what you're familiar with now. So eliminating things. Eliminating things like refined or hydrogenated oils. And these oils, surprisingly, there's this list of oils that you should stay away from. And it is canola oil, vegetable oil, soybean oil, processed sunflower acerola oil, cottonseed oil, and corn oil. Yeah, I know. It's been advertised that, I remember when canola oil came out and vegetable oil came out, and they were supposed to be the thing that we're supposed to do. But these oils actually cause inflammation. So we need to get rid of foods and substances that cause inflammation in the body. We need to get rid of food that feed yeast or candida, like sugars and refined grains. Those things, we naturally have candida in our body. It is a form of yeast, but sometimes when it gets out of control and it gets in the wrong place, it causes problems. We also need to lessen or eliminate as much as possible emotional stress. Emotional stress can cause breakouts and premature aging of our skin. take a step back and look at your life, look at your schedule, and just see, we're all busy, and just see where you can carve some time out just for yourself. It's going to be challenging for some of us, but anything that's worth working for is worth it. So just seek if you can chisel out some time just for yourself. Spend some time reading scriptures, books in the Bible like Proverbs for wisdom, or Psalms for praise, or meditate on scriptures that are affirmations and confirmations from God. It could also be a book that you want, that you're thinking about. God has placed this ministry on your mind and your heart. You want to read more about it. Or just a book that, a comic book that or a romantic book, something that's just going to put you in that place of relaxation and just kind of like take some stress away. And, when you're doing reading the scriptures or meditating, just be still sometimes and just listen for the voice of God and let Him minister to you. There's so many things that can snatch our attention away from Him. And so if we can just intentionally carve some time out for Him, and even it may be, because we talked about this before, just at the beginning of your day, before everything starts, just to put you in that calming place, to give you that calming spirit, to take some of that stress away. The more you spend time with Him and meditate on His Word, and He'll change. He may not change your situations, but He'll change you to where the things that used to irritate you, get on your last nerve, bother you, cause you stress, will be like, they won't be that stress factor anymore. Another thing that you can do is maybe just, take some time to have lunch, or go visit an elderly person. Our elderly are so just kind of like tossed to the side, being neglected in this generation. So it would do their hearts good to know that you just took this time out to just, call them. I know now with COVID, we have to be careful. So, just give them a call just to say, I was thinking about you, you crossed my mind. So just call in just to check on you, see how you're doing. And that would do them so much good. And then, during your time of talking with them, they can impart some wisdom, something that, you need to know. Maybe you'll find yourself conversing to them about things in life that you have questions about, that they've gone through, and that they can really advise you and give you words of wisdom. And you can also take some time to maybe invite like a younger person to lunch or to dinner, or give them a call and say, hey, I was just checking on you. I know, things are rough right now with school and trying to adjust, and just checking on you. And, that will do them good to know that you cared enough to stop and to check on them and to really hear them. A lot of times young people, they feel like they're not being heard, they're not being understood. So that would be a great time for you to just, a lot of times when we give advice, when we're able to, do something for people that causes us some kind of comfort, release, stress relief, just, that calming point. So things that, just things that's going to bring you joy, and just, for you to release some of the stress that you may be, that you may find in your life. Even something simple as turning on your music and just dancing. For those who don't move a lot, when you were younger, even when you went to the club, you would dance in your chair. So just, that gives you release, that gives you this calming thing. It brings you that joy, that reminiscing. Put on the music that's associated with a certain time in your life that you were carefree, and that everything was cool, and that you just want to go into that mode. Just, turn the music on and either just lay back and listen, or get up and cut a two-step, or do a chair dance just to release. Okay. So let's list some other things that we can do internally as far as doing something for our bodies and for the beauty inside. We need to adapt a diet rich in collagen. So collagen is a protein. 30% of all the proteins in our body are collagen. And so our body naturally makes collagen, but as we get older, it produces less collagen. So we need to supplement that. Pause. Iva says, you talked about facial skin issues associated with foods we eat. Sometimes there are warnings on our medications that there are side effects may cause problems in our liver and other organs. Should we ask our doctors if our skin issues may be associated with the medications we take? Definitely. Definitely, yes. And that's the thing is, the government requires warnings. And so, but we're so used to just doing as directed, we don't question those warnings. So definitely if, you're on medication, you're taking medications, and it gives you a warning that there are side effects and what these side effects are, have a talk with your medical professional about the side effects. And also with you focusing on your gut health and building your gut health, it will help you also in this matter of your side effects and the problems that you'll be having. So definitely talk to your physician. And maybe there is medication that you can take that will be less powerful, with less side effects. Maybe with you building up your microbiome in your gut, that you will have. He will be able to prescribe less medication or not as a strong of a medication as you've been needing in the past. Okay, so let's go on and talk about collagen. So like I said, collagen is a protein in our body, and as we get older, we need to supplement that because our bodies don't produce as much the older we get. So one product we can use to promote more collagen in our bodies is bone broth. And I've talked about bone broth often. Bone broth contains collagen that we need for, and it can be chicken bone broth, fish bone broth, beef bone broth. Make sure it's organic. You can get it in supplement form. You can get it in liquid form. You can get it in powder form. You can also make it yourself. There's recipes. I posted months ago a recipe for organic chicken broth, and it's basically taking the boniest part of like a chicken. Say for instance, I did chicken bone broth, and it's like the neck, the chicken necks, the chicken wings, what else? It was the chicken feet. And you put all of these organic vegetables in it, and make sure the chicken is organic, or if it's beef, it's a beef bones, then cow bones, then make sure that it's grass fed. If it's chicken bones, make sure that it's wild caught, just so that you can get just the freshest the freshest mixture that you're going to have as far as being good for your body. And you just take it and you put all these organic vegetables in there, spices, herbs, mix it all together, let it cook 24 to 48 hours in a slow cooker, and then strain it and then drink the broth. And you can do this. It's good to do it on a daily basis. We'll at least have 1 cup of bone broth a day, and this will help to supply your body with collagen, and it's good for hair, skin, and nails. Bone broth can be purchased in grocery stores, health food stores. It's beginning to be more have more notoriety. People are recognizing the health benefits of it. So just look out for it in different forms and different stores and places that you may shop. And then another thing we can do is eat more foods that's rich in vitamin C. That's kiwis, strawberries, lemons, limes, any other kind of citric fruits. That's high in vitamin C. It's also good for you. Herbs like ginseng, ashwagandha, schisandra. Schisandra is a very sour berry, and it's available in many places, or you can buy it, look for it in a supplement. Another good thing for the skin and for your health is Romania. It's a plant, and these are all in Chinese medicine. These herbs. That's why they have like these names that we haven't heard of before. Well, ginseng everybody has heard of. What ashwagandha, and this Romania. It's a plant, and the roots of the plant is used to make medicine. And so these can be found in supplement forms also. These supplements, these herbs, help to lower cortisone, which helps your gut and ultimately your skin. So that is what I have for you today for the beauty within. We have to think about not only the beauty that we see each day. We should enhance but not cover up, because cover up doesn't solve the problem. If you have breakouts, like you say, it may be your medication, and the medication ultimately is having something to do with your internal organs. And so, because if you think about it, we're digesting, we're swallowing the medication, and the medication, our bodies is treating it as a fat, as a carb, as a protein. It's looking for that. And I asked a question earlier, okay, so if what you're eating doesn't fall into any of those three categories, what is our body doing with them? And I think that's where the problem resides, in things that pop up in affecting our organs and how we function, is because of we take in things all the time, not only just medications, but things environmentally that we have no idea what we're breathing in. And so that's why it's so important for us to be proactive. Although we don't see right away the results, know that we're doing something good for our body. Try to do something good for your body each day, and then your body in turn will do something good for you. Any questions, raise your hands if you have questions, if you have comments. Thank you all for joining me. I really appreciate your presence. I really appreciate your support. And I ask you, as before, to share if you know of someone who needs this information, which is everybody, then please share on your page, share in your group, because we really need to know that God's plan of sustainability, of sustaining us through his sustenance that he created even before he created man, is what's really going to take us to the level in which we need in order for our bodies to start fighting against the diseases and the conditions that are just affecting our quality of life. You are very welcome. I pray that this has helped you, and pass the information on. This is one thing that my passion and this ministry is about, is getting the word out. Getting the word out to just be more cautious about what we consume and how we consume. When we talked about how our body being in a relaxed state and how it just processes the way it's supposed to, but when we're in a state of stress, or that it affects our digestion. The hormones, we know that hormones we think about hormones as, with our mood and everything, but hormones are directors, they're communicators in our digestion. And so when our hormones are suddenly in a fight or flight mode and they're focusing on stress, and we're no longer digesting the way we should, the way we eat. If we're eating and we're rushing in between meetings and we're eating, we're not digesting correctly. So we really have to be more intentional about how we eat and how we take care of ourselves. You are very welcome. Thank you for joining. My mom is here, my sister, my cousin, my nephew, friends. I just really appreciate you all. Send me, if you would like for me to cover anything specifically, just send me a message and eventually we will get to it. So if there are no questions, some might be leery of change because like I said before, we're just fixated on what we're giving up. But what we gain is far greater than what we're leaving behind. So just stay prayerful, stay with God, and watch Him work. If we're faithful and we put the work in, He will show up, guaranteed. Okay, so we're here each week, the same time, as I said, same bat time, same bat channel. I'm on the Pacific Standard Time, so that's 3:30 my time, 4:30 Mountain Time, 5:30 Central Time, and 6:30 on Eastern Time every Sunday. So again, until next Sunday, my blessing for you comes from Colossians 3:16 through 17. Let the word of Christ dwell in you richly, teaching and admonishing one another in all wisdom, singing psalms and hymns and spiritual songs with thankfulness in your hearts to God. And whatever you do, in word or deed, do everything in the name of the Lord Jesus, giving thanks to God the Father through Him. Have a blessed week, everyone, and prayerfully, I'll see you. Tell someone and start a watch party or have them join us next week. We'll continue talking about physical health.